You'll remember this young man from last week. I played you his video about digital ID and the fact that it had been taken out of the compulsory. Now we're going to have a listen to him again.
I'm not going to say I told you so, but I told you so. Digital ID. Everyone was celebrating early part of last week because it looked like the government had backtracked. It looked like the government had said, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to make it mandatory. It's just going to be a nice, friendly, cuddly, voluntary scheme. There won't be any issues with it. Don't worry about it. And I made a video saying, beware. It might seem a victory on the face of it, but that's not how it's going to play out. And then yesterday, we see an interview published in the Times newspaper, I think it was, a guy called Darren Jones. Darren Jones is a leading figure within the Labour government. He's the chief secretary to the Prime Minister. And he basically said, completely owned up, completely admitted that what they want to do is make digital ID a normal, everyday part of everyone's life. They want everything to go through the digital ID, Digital One app. So that would be applying for your passport, applying for your driving license, applying for.
Now this is what I knew was going to be happening. So everything that you have to apply for, they're going to make it that you have to do it with digital ID. This is what I was concerned about. And I said last week that my driving license is coming up for renewal. And I was going to look into whether I could renew my driving license without having to have a digital ID. And I found out that I can. And also my passport comes up for renewal at 2027, January 2027.
Child benefit, welfare payments, being able to pay your taxes, being able to register for public housing, register for jobs. Everything will be on there. Everything will be in one place. Everything will be on one app. And they want to make it an everyday part of everyone's life. And so the flip side of that is if everything is going to be easy to achieve via that one app, then doing it outside of that app will become increasingly onerous, increasingly difficult, long-winded. They're going to make you produce lots of different bits of ID, fill out lots of different forms, go through lots of different departments, and they will just win the battle through convenience.
See, I know that he's just said that they're going to make you do this, do that, provide lots of different things, lots of long-winded paperwork. Now, I appreciate what he's saying, but that's the system now. So they're not going to make it any more difficult for you to do these things because you still. If I want to apply for a renewal on my driving license, I still have to provide all of that ID, even if they hadn't ever mentioned digital ID. So the process, he's making it sound like they're going to be putting more steps in place for you to make it more inconvenient. Well, at the moment, it's just the process. A digital ID is going to make it more convenient for you to do it if you do it through the portal and you get the app and you do everything through the app and through the portal. That will be more convenient because it'll have all of your data on it, so they won't need you to send all of those verification methods through. But at the moment, without digital ID, if you want to get a new passport, if you want to get a new driving license, you have to send verification documents. So they're not making it any more difficult. I just wanted to point that out. As much as I like this guy, yeah, that he's kind of trying to coerce you into believing a little bit that they're going to make it more difficult for you to do these things.
Basically, convenience is the tool. Convenience has always been the tool over the last 20 years. Oh, it's so much more convenient. Just use the app. It's so much quicker. Just go online. Just use the app. Why are you doing it face to face? Why are you having to go to the post office? Why do you want to post your documents off? Just do it on the app. Just do it on the app. Just do it on the app. That's going to get drummed into you, drummed into you, drummed into you. And it will become increasingly more long-winded to do anything outside of the app. And so
no, it won't become increasingly more long-winded to do anything outside the app. It will be as long-winded as it is at the moment. That won't change. And you won't have to go, again, I'm cutting in on him, but you won't have to go and do the post office thing because you can still apply online. When you do a renewal for your driving license, you apply online, you upload a picture of yourself. You can opt out of the digital ID. You can upload a picture of yourself for your driving license. You can upload documents to your application through your computer. So you just effectively you take a picture of if they want, say, obviously they'll need your photo for your driver's license. They need proof of address, so they might need a bill. And I have a lot of bills that I don't actually have paper coming to my house anymore, but in my account online with whoever the supplier is. So whether that's my water bill, whether that's whatever the bill is, I can download a copy of that straight to my computer and I can put that straight into the portal on the website for the driving license and avoid the digital ID part of it completely. So you don't have to, it's not, he's kind of making it out to say that you would have to, you're going to have to physically write the forms out. People don't write anymore. You're going to have to physically write the forms out. You're going to have to physically enclose all of your stuff. You're going to have to walk down to the post office, pay for the post office stamp to be able to put it in the post and send it off. No, you won't have to.
Gradually, what will happen is people will crumble. People have busy lives. People don't have the time to go and buy envelopes and stamps and post things, or go to the post office to do something, or try and dig out a paper copy of a bank statement and a paper copy of a utility bill and then upload those onto a portal and then go.
See, like I say, it's not as difficult as he's making it sound, because this is what we have to do at the moment. If I've got a utility bill that is in a paper form, all I have to do is take a picture of it and upload that. It doesn't take it's not a hardship. It's not difficult to do. There are provisions made for that on the website for you to just upload documents. So as much as I like this guy, he has a tendency to embellish a little bit to make it sound worse.
Somewhere else to do something different. They're just going to make it more and more and more difficult to lead your life without having the nice, friendly, cuddly Digital One government app. That's what's going to happen. And people will give in. They will, naturally. And then once you've got a critical mass, half the population, 60% of the population using this app on a regular basis, at that stage, your government will go, well, the vast majority of people are already using it. We don't want to keep open lots of different avenues. And so at that point, they will then close down your other avenues. And so the remaining 40% of people, maybe, who have held out will have no option. If they want to continue with their lives, they will have to sign up to the app. Now,
that I do think is true. This is why I find it's really important to discuss this now before they start doing these things and making them so that you can't get out of it, because there are a lot of people in this country that aren't openly aware of what's going on and aren't openly aware of the controlling mechanisms that are being put in place, because we're being sold it along the line of, oh, it's just going to make life so much easier. And who doesn't want an easy life? Who doesn't want an easy life? Everybody wants an easy life in some way, shape or form. So when you're sold it like that, it's like, oh yeah, that's all right. And it will be on one thing. Like maybe let's use the driving license as an example. Oh yeah, we're doing it as for driving licenses. And it will be really easy. And then it will be the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. And before you know it, all of your freedoms that you had will be taken away because they're controlled by one app. And we've also spoken about how easy it is to hack apps. How easy it is for people who have cyber knowledge to cyber hack. Very easily done.
And then once they've got everyone on the app, then they'll roll it alongside banking and digital currencies. And a social credit scheme like they have in China will suddenly miraculously appear. I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. Yeah, what you said online last week, we're not going to arrest you or punish you for it. We're just going to freeze your bank account for a week. Or we're just going to go straight into your bank account and take your taxes out that you haven't paid us quite yet. That's how it's all going to happen. That's how it's going to play out. And it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next month. It's not going to happen probably in the life of this parliament. But bit by bit by bit by bit, they will entrap people. They will capture people. They will drag you kicking and screaming into the scheme. Except that most people won't kick and scream. It will just happen by osmosis. You won't really notice until one day you wake up and you can't do anything without it. That's what's going to happen. You have to push back. Inconvenience is your friend. Be inconvenient at all times. If anyone in authority asks you to do anything, wants you to do anything, wants you to produce anything, be as inconvenient as you can. Never tick the online option, always tick the paper option. Always take the difficult route. Yes, it's going to cost you a bit more time, but if you can change your mindset, you can actually get pleasure out of it. You can actually get enjoyment, as I do, out of causing trouble.
I can believe that. He is well aware that you can do these things without digital ID online. You can do them online. I've been renewing my passport and renewing my driving. Well, this will be the first time the second time I think that I've had to renew my driving license. So he knows that you can do it online and avoid digital ID. But he's one of these cantankerous, bloody-minded people who's decided he's actually going to put himself out a little bit more by doing, like he says, ticking the paper option. I am going to fill that form in. I am going to go to the post office. I am going to do it that way because I'm going to make it really awkward for you.
Cause trouble to the authorities. Take time up for them. Make them work a little bit harder. They're not your friend anyway, so why would you be helpful to them? Change your mindset. Get pleasure out of being an awkward sod. Get pleasure out of doing things the long-winded way. Get pleasure out of posting things to them and forcing them to write back to you rather than doing it all online. You can resist. Anyone who's over the age of 40 spent the vast majority of their life not doing things online. And was it that difficult? Was it that much of a problem? The only thing that's changed is your mindset. Go back to your old mindset. It's how we did things for centuries, and it wasn't really a problem. What does it gain you, this convenience? It doesn't really gain you a lot. It gains you a little bit of time. Stops you being a little bit lazy, but it gains the government everything. All of your data, all of your information, and ultimately all of your freedom in one place. You have to say no. You have to resist. You have to stop doing it. You have to start being as inconvenient as you possibly can.
So that's our friend. I mean, if you'd like to follow him, you can follow him on X, John Han. Like I say, he's great. He's a bit cantankerous, but he's great. And I do agree with a lot of what he says. I do think that he can, like I say, embellish it to the point of it, just basically being more of a hardship than it is. And it isn't more of a hardship than it is, because the way we do things now is the standard way of doing things. And like I say, I do my stuff online. I don't have a problem with doing it online. I find it convenient. It's very useful to be able to upload things and send them off to any agency that needs it without the need to go to the post office and post things and do things. I do understand why he says do it through paper, but there isn't that need. But my main concern is for our youth. My main concern is for anything that we accept now is going to become totally standard and totally normal for our children coming into this world. And the way that they will have their freedoms curtailed and not even realize it. That's the issue. And I actually responded to John, and I wrote, I 100%, you are so right. I've been saying this ever since they backtracked last week. If we don't do something now, our youth's future will be compromised and they won't know any different. They'll accept all the conveniences and not realize they're captured in the matrix. And I think that's my standpoint. As you know, I'm a huge advocate for children growing up in a safe, happy, loving giving environment where their freedoms are intact and where their health and well-being can grow and flourish over time. And that starts from the moment they enter this world. So I'm along that line when it comes to it. Now, this I found disturbing, but I just wanted to give you a broader understanding of what this digital ID thing really is about. Because when we spoke last week, I said it wasn't just the UK. This is a global thing. So I just want you to pay attention to this.
United Nations Agenda 21, Sustainable Development. It is the inventory and control plan. Inventory and control of all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all food, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. And this is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations back in 1992. It's a United Nations plan. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century. And so many of us around the world think that sustainable development, it just sounds so great. Isn't it about recycling and creative reuse? And
sustainable development is one of those buzz phrases. If you can have a paragraph in a official kind of statement that says sustainable development, everybody thinks that's a great thing. So it's a buzz phrase.
Creating energy and food resources for everyone, and the answer is no. It really is not. It's about moving populations into city centers, concentrated city centers, and clearing them out of the rural areas.
Now, we already know this by the way they're treating our farmers. We've covered the farmers. We've looked at, in the news, we've looked at the farmers across different countries who are rallying at the moment for their rights.
It's constructed of non-governmental organizations, corporations, and government in order to dictate and regulate what it is that happens around the world. Regionalization is the stepping stone to globalization, and globalization is the standardization of all systems. All systems have to be brought into harmony in order to control them all. And the goal of Agenda 21 is one world government and total control from a central unit. The principles are public-private partnerships, which is fascism. And this is how it's implemented on the ground, is through this joining together between corporations, non-governmental organizations, and governments in order.
You remember when I brought you the information about the Buyer app? And Ian Carroll had basically uncovered that there are 3 main corporations that own everything and control everything. If you haven't seen that, go and look on my YouTube. There's a video there about the difference you can make, one person at a time.
To cut out the actual individual, your voter, and instead to take that to a level where we literally cannot penetrate. This is a corporatocracy. It's a totalitarian state being developed right now all over the world.
It's showing a picture here of the World Economic Forum. I'm not sure if you are aware of them, if you've heard of them, if you've got any information about them. But they're a group of billionaires who are completely unelected, but they have decided that they're going to shape and make our future. And they've just held, or they are holding at the moment, I think, their latest conference, their Davos conference. And one of the big things that's come through is them understanding that they can try and make as many plans as they like for our future, but we're onto them. We know who they are. We know that we will basically be governed by a billionaire elite, and we're not having it as a global population. People have turned around and said, no, I'm not having that. I'm not going to be dictated to by these World Economic Forum people. So they've lost the public's trust, and lots of institutions have lost the public's trust And the bottom line for that is you can't control a worldwide population if they don't believe in you, if they don't trust that you have their best interests at heart. So that was something that came up at Davos over the last, I think it was a couple of days ago. So that's worth bearing in mind. They may well have a lot of money, but without us consenting, they have very little power.
While we are moving towards the end game, we are not there. And this is the opportunity that all of us have now to stand up, to speak out. We are free, and we need to continue to be free. And I do believe that we will win, but we have to become aware that there is a fight.
Very true. That was from Mr. Red Pills. Yeah, this is why they need the Digital ID Agenda 2030. Because that's a massive piece of the control puzzle. Okay. Then I found this guy, and I've spoken to you about the youth and being concerned about the youth. This guy is, let me find his name, Montgomery Toms. And he's an activist who's gaining traction at the moment. He's a young man who firmly believes that youth need to stand up. Now, when he talks about youth, he's talking about probably from the age of like 16, voting youth. But just have a listen to what he's got to say about the digital ID.
I'm currently at a demonstration against the Children and Wellbeing Schools Bill. This is to say that young people are going to be pushed to have a digital ID. It's an attack on homeschooling, and it's an attack on the rights of a parent to have complete jurisdiction and control over their child rather than mass state interference. This is about bringing digital ID through the back door rather than through the front door, which they've now U-turned on. This is a sneaky attack on our children's wellbeing. They call it the Children and Wellbeing Act, but it's not about the children's wellbeing. It's about attacking fundamental freedoms and taking away the right that a parent has over their own child. It's outrageous, it's disgusting. We need to scrap digital ID in its entirety and protect and safeguard our children. Give rights and responsibility to parents, not the state. I'm currently at a demonstration against the
100%.
Children and Wellbeing.
This is what I was saying about our children being born into a system that's controlling. That's what he's fighting for. Go and follow him if you can. From what I've seen of him, very interesting, very nice young man. He's really pushing to get youth activated against the digital ID. And I am going to look and probably do a bit of a deeper dive, because I did the deep dive on the bringing lockdown mandates into school for school lockdowns. And this is quite concerning when it comes to the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill. So I'll look into that bill and I'll bring you more information on that later on. But what he's saying is very true. They're bringing it in through the back door. They're effectively making it impossible not to comply. Now, that's just giving you a little bit more scope on the digital ID side of things. And last week we talked about the facial recognition issue and the fact that they're putting facial recognition cameras into our cities and towns and not even asking us about it, not talking to us about it. They're just implementing it. They're putting them in. So I want you to listen to a few people. BigBrotherWatch.org.uk is the organisation that's probably most on this topic, the facial recognition software side of things. So have a listen to this guy.
What if I told you that in court the government is fighting to keep this hidden? A secretive system of intense surveillance targeting the most vulnerable people in Britain is coming to light. Millions of people in the UK are being secretly profiled by government algorithms that are riddled with bias. And you could be one of them. The Department for Work and Pensions is using AI models to secretly profile and flag benefits claimants. Our investigation has found that these models are biased against your age, your nationality, your relationship status, and even your illnesses. And instead of fixing them, the DWP went to court to keep the risk secret. And now they're building even more AI-powered models with huge potential for discrimination, and refusing to publish the details, despite the risk to millions of people's rights. Our new report, Suspicion by Design, uncovers how these automated tools are quietly reshaping our welfare system. This is a system built on secrecy, suspicion, and surveillance, and we need transparency now. You deserve to know how these AI tools are affecting your life. Read our new report using the link in our bio.
I'm going to do a deep dive on the Children Welfare and Schools Bill. I'm going to look at their report, and I will bring more information to you on that as well. It's been brought to government's attention that the people are really not very happy, and there was an open session on facial recognition. And I'm just going to play for you now what was said. It's not even a minute long.
Currently, it's open season on facial recognition with no statutory constraints on its use or misuse. That means that this deeply invasive mass surveillance tool poses a serious threat to the civil liberties and human rights of UK citizens. If used in combination with the DVLA drivers database, it would be a disproportionate expansion of police powers to identify and track innocent citizens across time and locations for low-level policing needs. It will give the authorities access to biometric data of tens of millions of our fellow citizens. It's vital that safeguards are introduced in law to prevent this from happening.
So that wasn't the House of Commons, that was the House of Lords.
Currently, it's open season on facial recognition.
We'll stop him. So that's the House of Lords. That he's brought that up in. And we all know that if anything gets through the House of Commons, it has to go to the House of Lords before it can be passed if it's a bill. So it's in their trajectory. They are looking at it. They are hearing that we, the public, are really not very happy about this facial recognition software going in all around us without us even being aware of it, being informed of it, being consulted about it. Even I'm not saying that it would be acceptable even if we were consulted, but the fact that we've not even been consulted as the public being spied upon is outrageous. It's really bad. So you can understand why Big Brother Watch are in uproar over it. So Big Brother Watch, take action. Stop the police and shops from using live facial recognition surveillance. The Home Office has launched a consultation on the use of this tech. Now, I don't know how long this consultation's been going on, but you can sign to have your say, and I've signed. So this is through Big Brother Watch. This is your chance to have your say. Use our tool to respond quickly today. So this is a campaign that Big Brother Watch have put together. So I really highly suggest that you go and support this, because you just never know. Okay, so this is their website. This is Big Brother Watch. And it's about emailing the Home Office. So the Home Office has launched a consultation on the use of facial recognition and similar technologies. Now is your chance to make your voice heard and tell the Home Office about the dangers facial recognition poses to our civil liberties. You can use the tool we have provided below to tailor your response using your own background, experiences, skills, and concerns. The Home Office is more likely to consider responses that are unique instead of those that are copied and pasted directly. That being said, their letter to the Home Office is really comprehensive. So if you want to do this, and you only have until the 12th of February, that's why I'm bringing it to you now. When I'm recording this is the 21st. When it goes out, it will be next Wednesday. So that will give you 2 weeks to get on board with this and have your voice heard at the Home Office level. So you fill in your name, you fill in your email, and you add your address. So not your address, but your postcode. Okay. And then there's this personalized message. Now, I'm not going to read it all because it's really long-winded, but it brings up such key points that are really very important. So I suggest you read it, and where you have an inclination to add something, add it. So add your own personal thoughts. If you've ever had a problem with facial recognition, anything like that, sign it, add your experiences and what you think. And when you sign it, you then send it. You send the email, and that goes off to the Home Office. So you don't have to worry about printing it out or anything like that. You can alter it real time. Like I can put anything I want in here. I can put anything I want in here to alter it and send it straight to the Home Office. So if you have any worries about the constraints and the legal implications of what facial recognition software and cameras in our towns and cities can do, that is the place to voice your opinion, and do it by the 12th of February.